was there. So let me recognize all of them and set all protocols very duly observed. Today is an important day. Today is the last day of 2025. So we are ending this year with a hope that in 2026 we will begin a journey of rescue of our country. For proper socio-economic development that will be unifying and inclusive. We have all watched those
2025, the last day in the year 2025. Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State and presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023, chose today to officially defect from the Labour Party to the African Democratic Congress. That declaration took place during a major political, what you can call a political rally, though in an enclosed space at the Nickel Lake Resort. Is it Nike Lake Resort in Enugu State, where he was joined by key political figures, including the African Democratic Congress National Chairman, David Mark, and former Sokoto State Governor, Aminu Tambuwal. We hear that the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, as we see in that picture, was somewhat, part of the picture. This was further attended by several high-profile Southeast leaders and former Labour Party lawmakers. And, of course, this has drawn several attention. In fact, Peter Obi stated there in that clip we just played you that the move is a rescue journey to dismantle the current political structure and prepare for the 2027 general elections. Well, the African Democratic Congress is now led by former President of the Senate, yes, that's Senator David Mark, as National Chairman, and former Osun State Governor Rauf Alagbeshola as National Secretary, while Peter Obi has now formally joined the African Democratic Congress. Officials previously noted he had been part of a broader opposition coalition involving figures like Atiku Abubakar and Nasir El-Rufai since its inception. As a matter of fact, he said that himself today, that he was part of the process from day one. During the declaration, Peter Obi emphasized his intent to contest the 2027 presidency for a single 4-year term and ruled out serving as vice presidential candidate. Well, several National Assembly members followed suit with Peter Obi's declaration. Persons like Senators Inayat Badibe spoke today. Reti Kingibe has also defected. Tony Nwoye, Victor Ume, as well as former Deputy Speaker Emeka Ihedioha, the one you can see in the picture right now, joined the African Democratic Congress as well. Now, you do know that in the past, the Labour Party had given Peter Obi, certain ultimatum to decide to formally resign and decide where he belongs, where he's now declared officially for the African Democratic Congress. Let's get talking. Welcome to Homo Politicos. This is Enterprise Television. Kingsley Bass is my name. We're having this conversation on this last day of the year 2025 on Homo Politicos. And, well, what a way to close the year. For some persons, this will give them clarity. For other persons, this will further shape the future of Nigeria, particularly going into the next cycle of elections in 2027. I'm joined by two fine gentlemen, political commentators. Prince Francis Chilaka. He joins me virtually today. Prince Francis, many thanks for joining me. Prince Francis.
It's full of fun. I mean, I'm happy.
Fantastic. Good to hear from you. Well, another political commentator joins me virtually as well. Lulu Jimmy, I know. Jimmy, many thanks for joining me.
As always, Bassi. And of course, Happy New Year Eve. Looking forward to 2026.
Fantastic. Yes.
Jimmy, how now?
I am fine, sir. Good to see you, sir.
Great.
Same here.
let's get down to the conversation, gentlemen. So this has drawn several questions. I mean, in the past, there have been several questions drawn. Where will Peter Obi pitch his tent ahead of 2027? Well, that is known for sure now, beyond speculations. He was, as a matter of fact, some days ago, I think precisely on Monday, on a Twitter space where he said he's not settling for a vice presidential slot, that he didn't travel around the world to learn from leaders to settle for a vice presidential slot, but he's going in for the presidency. Well, let me turn to you first, Prince Francis Chilaka. Will the obedience movement following this defection by Peter Obi remain unified or split between the Labour Party and the African Democratic Congress? Because while many core supporters have signaled they will follow Peter Obi, wherever he goes, prominent figures like Governor Alex Otti, Abia State, have officially confirmed he would remain there, or they will remain there in the Labour Party. Prince Francis.
All right. Basically, I think today is a happy day for a lot of Nigerians, especially young Nigerians who aspire for good governance, who aspire for an inclusive government, who aspire for a listening government, who aspire for a leader that can carry people along. Unlike some leaders who are insisting, even when the people are saying that we don't want this tax reform because there are a lot of issues on it, but we have somebody who says, no, it must be implemented. So the sovereignty of the people, as far as we're concerned, has been thrown to the dogs. Now, talking about P2B and declaration for ADC and the obedient movement, look, you need to understand that the obedient movement is not about Labour Party. And that's what I want people to understand. The obedient movement is about P2B, it's organic love for P2B. So it has nothing to do with Labour Party. So anybody who is an obedient, who believes in the vision and mission statement of obedient will move. There are no two ways about it. So anybody who says, no, we're going to be divided, some people in Labour Party.
There you go. Just, I suppose, a technical
so so obedient is Peter Obi, and Peter Obi is obedient. Did you get me?
Point, there was a glitch, there, but your point got in very well. Let me turn to Jimmy real quick. Jimmy, there have been talks about the heavyweights within this coalition bloc, the African Democratic Congress. How do you see, or do you see Peter Obi securing the presidential ticket within this coalition of heavyweights? He has joined the platform already, housing figures like Atiku Abubakar, Nasir El-Rufai, though El-Rufai has not said he's contesting. We have Rotimi Mechi there who has declared to contest. As a matter of fact, Atiku, Rotimi, as well as Peter Obi have said they are going for just a one-term presidency. While critics and some members of the African Democratic Congress have raised concerns about a potential trick, as well, to repackage Atiku for 2027. Now, that's despite Peter Obi's insistence on the transparent primary. Do you think that Peter Obi, what do you see could happen here? Can he clinch the needed ticket, secure that presidential ticket from the African Democratic Congress?
The thing is that at this moment, it was easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle for Peter Obi to get that ticket. Let's be honest with ourselves. I think, he may have publicly said it, that he's not going to be a second fiddle and he's not going to be a running mate for anybody. But sources who are familiar with the ADC and, of course, why they were putting pressure on him to officially declare for ADC have said that more likely he might be the running mate for Atiku. And that's why Atiku is very happy that Obi is joining the ADC, let's look at it from this angle. When he was at Labour Party, the Labour Party more or less were I wouldn't say they're not perfect, but it was a pristine platform had no bad reputation and whatever it is. But you are joining an ADC with people who you have described as members of a criminal structure, And I mean, the like of El Rufai and the rest, you've had issues with them. Atiku, just name them. Many of them are in that party who, in 2022, while you were running for while you left the PDP, you pointed fingers at many of them directly and indirectly, accusing them of being part of those who have, ruined the country by looting it. And then lo and behold, you are part of them. I would agree with Prince because I do have a number of people who are who are obedient, who have voiced out that it seems as if they won't be supporting Peter Obi. One, because for some of them anyway, they feel that joining the ADC means that Peter Obi is joining the so-called looters, who are looking to regain power and further loot the country. Others are saying that because he would not get the tickets, that the ADC have been well packaged for Atiku, because Atiku would not leave a PDP and go to the ADC just to sit back and clap for Obi. No, this seems to be his last chance to become the president of the country. He's been doing that since 1993, so there's no way that Atiku will look to step down for a Peter Obi. He will, in fact, from all indication, we've seen flyers, we've seen banners with Atiku. He's been meeting with stakeholders, youth associations, and all of that. That's an indication that he wants to. And when an Atiku is gunning for such a position, when their primary is held, Atiku is a money bag. And the usual thing he does at the PDP, where he tried to manipulate the result. I'm not saying rigging, because, of course, in Nigeria, we do know that money politics is still what we have, it's still what we practice. So, I mean, it will pay the delegates, especially from northern region, and of course, ensure that the ticket comes to him. Now, who will be his running mate is what we'll now wait to see who exactly. But again, from all indication, saying it publicly doesn't mean, we still have a lot of time to cover up, but by the time they have their convention and the rest, I think it will be clear to a lot of people that Peter Obi joined the ADC to be the running mate of Alhaji Abubakar Atiku.
You sense that would be the case. Well, he just a few was mentioned. That was on Monday. He was on the Twitter space saying he did not travel far and wide. He did not go to visit different presidents to learn how they govern and to learn certain basics to settle for that. That he was going to contest the presidency under the African Democratic Congress. From his statements today and some of the things he's done today, do you think he's probably learned from how things work, how the Nigerian political system and, at least at the national level? He's been part of the system, he's been governor, a two-time governor, a two-term governor. So maybe he's probably learned from that and, could play politics better now.
No, the thing is that he has carved sort of a niche for himself that, number one, he has said he's not desperate to be president, but at this moment, it looks as if there's desperation to it. He has carved a personality for himself. People now see him as the incorruptible, the person who won't play dirty politics, who won't, fight in the mud. But joining the ADC, you have to fight in the mud. So if that's what he's saying, and again, he said he will contest for the primary. Yeah, you can contest for the primary. And if you don't win, you become the running mate of Atiku. I'm not saying he will contest for it, but definitely he will, just as you have said. I think most of what he is saying is just to placate and assure his followers that he's going to, run as a candidate in the party's primaries come 2026. But at the end of the day, the major, or rather the key role that he will play in the ADC is to become the running mate of Atiku. There's no way he's going to wrest that ticket from Atiku. because Atiku has already started working from the ground. He's already on ground doing things, And for the fact that Atiku is welcoming him, happy that he's joining, from all indication, it looks as if it's more likely that he becomes the running mate of Atiku.
Prince Francis Chilaka, well, I suppose you disagree with Jimmy there, but
no, Jimmy is talking as an APC person. Now, let us face.
No, not even no. I'm not an APC person. I'm not.
Jimmy, you're holding the position of APC. This is the position the opposition.
No, not at all. I'm not a bit.
The truth of the matter is that people here has joined ADC not to become a vice to anybody. You can take it to the bank. It's as simple as ABCD. And that was why it took him time to be able to look. You must also understand that there is a gentleman agreement, which, though it's not constitutional, amongst political parties in terms of power sharing. 8 years for the north, 8 years for the south. And so ADC knows deep down that if they put up a northern candidate with the way Nigeria is today, there will be a protest vote against ADC. So ADC will not make that mistake that PDP made in 2023. They will not make it. Go and take it to the bank.
But how can though, just before you respond, Jimmy, Prince Francis, how can P2B maintain this, anti-establishment brand that he created in 2022 in the build-up to the 2023 elections, now that is aligned, or realigned with veteran politicians by joining forces with former PDP and All Progressives Congress leaders like David Mark, Rauf Aregbesola? He may face scrutiny regarding his commitment to dismantling the same political structures he previously criticized.
You need to understand that you cannot change a system from outside. For you to change any system, you need to be in the system to be able to change it. So it doesn't matter. You see, we just have one mindset in this country. We just feel, oh, this person is corrupt. There is no politician in Nigeria that is not corrupt. Quote me any day. So anybody who's telling you that there's a politician that is not corrupt, then the person is not saying the truth. But the thing is that in the midst of that corruption, can we get something good out of it? Can we be able to rescue Nigeria from the place it is today? That is what we're asking of. And that is what we're saying. Yes, we can rescue Nigeria. And that is our journey. We will rescue Nigeria. Nigeria needs to be rescued from those who have held it down for a long time. APC came, if you remember, the mantra of the late President Buhari was change, change. But I kept telling Nigerians then that this man was shouting change. And Nigerians were the ones who are echoing change. And at the end of the day, what happened? The Buhari administration changed Nigerians, destabilized the country, ruined the country for 8 years. And in this current administration, we have not seen any difference. It's a continuation of bad governance, continuation of recklessness, continuation of, being in charge, where you have decided that APC, the executive arm of government, have subsumed every other arm of government. The Senate is not functioning on its own. The judiciary is not functioning on its own. Is that democracy? Is that the kind of rule of law we want in this country? How can you have a document that has been said that, there was infractions in that document? What you expect from a good government is to sit down and listen to the people. The only thing the National Assembly did is that they want to recassette. How do you recassette something that has already been passed, that has a flaw? Who did the flaw? Who is being punished? We can't run a country where people don't get punished. NNPC has been draining the resources of this country, and yet you are forgiving their debts. Nobody's asking questions. Nobody's being called to order. We cannot continue in this recklessness of governance.
Jimmy, I see you've been waiting to respond.
Point of correction. The National Assembly did not say they were regazetting the act. What they said was they were reviewing. No, confirmation has, of course, the spokesperson for the National Assembly has said what they're doing is reviewing it. They set up a committee to actually look at it. So as we speak, nobody has mentioned any substantial alteration. And it's not on the part of the executive. So if the National Assembly can come up with something before tomorrow, probably the president will listen. The court this morning, where the case was taken to, actually said they haven't seen anything substantial that will halt it, and therefore it will go ahead. But that's a story for another day. You mentioned that no politician, because Prince mentioned that no politician is, you can't mention any politician that is not corrupt. That means even Peter Obi is corrupt. You blame the Buhari government and said the Buhari government destabilized Nigeria. Members of the ADC, in fact, half of the ADC are made up of members of Buhari's government. You have the Malami, the Amechi, and the rest. In that particular El Rufai, they are all members of the ADC. So what exactly are they coming to stabilize? So that's a question people will ask concerning Peter Obi's ambition. Are you working with the same people who have said they would destabilize, that have destabilized the country in the past? Malami spent close to 8 years, in fact, 8 years with President Buhari. Amechi too as well was a member, was a minister. So really, what do we look at and feel that these are the people that want to make a change suddenly because they are out of power? So that puts question mark on Peter Obi's official declaration for the AD. I wish Peter Obi stayed back in the Labour Party and restructure it. Sit down and talk to the people there. Because right now, it looks as if Peter Obi is not interested in building. He would rather people build and then he jump into it,
Apparently, there's something which there's a challenge with your
you and I, we know that.
You might want to check that to quickly fix that. But yes, your last comment, the last thing we heard you say is that you wish Peter Obi had stayed back at the Labour Party and worked for the structure there. Why you're trying to, I don't know if it's fixed now. Jimmy, can you hear me clearly?
No, if you can hear me, I can hear you clearly.
Fantastic. Please conclude your thoughts real quick, yes.
So what I'm saying is that I wish he stayed back at the Labour Party, sat down with Julius Aburi and the rest, and tried to resolve it, And I think that would have been best for him, because then it would have been established that Peter Obi is the leader of the Labour Party. You can see, Alex Otti said he's not going anywhere, and a couple of other lawmakers on the platform of Labour said they're not joining with him because they have seen the ADC, and they know that the ADC is no different from any other party who is filled up with people who, because they are out of power, they are so hungry about it. The Raoul Paregbeshola and the rest, these are people who are in the power, and we saw what they did. And of course, Principal mentioned it, that, Buhari's administration ruined the country. These are people who were, in fact, key stakeholders, ministers and the rest, who ran the country in that manner, So my point is that Peter Obi should be somebody who can build, not wait for other people to build and then jump on it. Because at this moment, it looks as if he's just waiting to be given the ticket. Hand it to me. He's not ready to contest. He doesn't want to contest. All he wants is, oh, you are Peter Obi, take the ticket and run because you are Peter Obi. It doesn't work that way. You have to fight for it. You have to give reason why you have to be the flag bearer of the party ahead of the 2027 election, But unfortunately, he has declared for the ADC. Let's see how it will go. Well, the obedient, as Prince has said, some of them will definitely follow him, while others may not. But at the end of the day, I still stand on the ground that he will be the running mate of Atiku. Saying all of this on space, on publicly that he did not govern, he did not go abroad. Yeah, fine. He will run for the ticket of definitely he will be one of the contestants. But once he's confirmed that he's lost out, which will definitely happen, the next thing we will hear is that Atiku is picking him as the running mate.
For the moment, I thought you were going to say power is not giving a la carte, you'd grab it, snatch it, and run away with it. What you said is waiting to be given the ticket for a moment.
No. Basi, let's be honest. Whether we mock, whether we say, oh, grab it. In Nigeria, that's the way of politics. Nobody who wants power
want to be going. Jimmy, it's not the way we should go.
Even as
Jimmy, you went
okay.
Jimmy, wait. Jimmy, hold on, Jimmy.
Prince, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Jimmy. Point of order. You said people should have stayed back in Labour Party to be the leader of the Labour Party. I think you need to understand the way political parties work in Nigeria. Maybe you need to read the constitutions. A flag bearer of the party is not the leader of the party. Your power as a flag bearer ends after the elections. Other than the chairman of the party, the leader of the party is the most high-ranking elected official of that party. So people we need to put this in perspective to understand how these things work.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you, but Peter Obi,
because he was not the leader of the party, and
no,
he was not allowed to lead the party.
Prince, while I agree with you constitutionally that that's what the late Brown.
There, okay, a bit of a technical challenge there. Hopefully we can reconnect with both gentlemen to wrap the conversation. They were just, talking, making their point about Obi being a leader, at least within the Labour Party. He's since left the Labour Party, is now with the African Democratic Congress. That's much we saw today with his declaration. And yeah, this will definitely shape 2026. That of 2027 in so many ways. There, as you can see, there are several individuals who were part of the movement who were there to witness the process today. We'll keep the conversation going. We've been having this conversation with my guests, both gentlemen, political commentators, talking to me about this. Let's go to break. When we get back, the conversation continues. I'd like you to stop by the comment section and let's hear your thoughts. I'd like to read your thoughts as well, what you think would happen going forward. Is this the game changer for the opposition bloc in the country? There have been, words made, very strong statements made by members of this bloc, the opposition bloc, saying what happened in 2014, 2015 would repeat itself, where an incumbent president, an incumbent party at the center will be defeated and defeated massively. Is this the beginning of that? Is this not? Let's get talking in a moment. Stop by the comment section, let me hear your thoughts. We're back in a moment to wrap the conversation.
My people, the elections are around the corner. Before you know,
months before that, first we'll see primaries by political parties going by the calendar, the election calendar of the Independent National Electoral Commission. But before that would be party alliances. We've seen movements from the People's Democratic Party, from the PDP, some from, we've even seen from the All Progressives Grand Alliance, the All Progressives Grand Alliance to the All Progressives Congress. But now, today, being the last day in the year 2025, we saw one by the Labour Party presidential candidate in 2023 and former governor of Anambra State, officially declaring his stance with the African Democratic Congress. This was followed by further declarations as well. Senator Inaya Badibe, for example, right there, Dr. Peter Obi declared that he's with the African Democratic Congress, said he this morning resigned his membership of the All Progressives Grand Alliance and is now a member of the African Democratic Congress. You can see there Senator David Mark, now national chairman of the African Democratic Congress, present during Peter Obi's declaration today. Well, there have been talks about the movement that could follow. That's with Peter Obi's grassroots supporters called the Obedient Movement. I'm joined today by two fine gentlemen. They've been talking to me about this particular development, political development. It's one that would wrap 2025. Whether this was strategic by the Peter Obi camp or not, we're not sure how this will shape 2026 and 2027 particularly, as politicians continue to scheme and horse trading begins. Has started for 2027. Just a few days ago, the Federal Capital Territory Minister did say that it would that politics will begin in January, like really begin in January, and that he was quoted to saying that politicking begins, he would spend more time his Saturdays and Sundays in Port Harcourt. Oh well, Jimmy, Jimmy, I know, rejoins me now. Jimmy, you want to wrap your thoughts? We're saying, okay, he should show more leadership. He should have shown more leadership. You've made your point regarding that. Prince Francis Chilaka was agreeing with you. But let's talk about this single 4-year term. This promise, this campaign promise, if you like, that has been pushed around. Do you think that this is a viable campaign promise for the coalition looking to win the hearts of Nigerians? Peter Obi has pledged to serve just one term, if elected, to begin Nigeria's transformation. It remains to be seen if his coalition partners and the electorate will view this as a stable foundation for long-term reform. But of course, we know that Atiku Abubakar said, yes, one term. Tomechi has said, oh, well, one term is fine. One term is fine to get this to happen. What do you say? Do you think this is a viable campaign promise that could steer Nigerians in its direction?
No, not at all. It's not viable. Everybody knows that 8 years is not even enough in Nigeria to actually change the trajectory of the country if you're a very serious candidate. And I think he's making a mistake by repeatedly saying, I need 4 years. It just shows that, from saying that is indicative of probably, or rather signifies that he just wants to be president and have that title. And, because 4 years, if you really want to make a change, whatever, 4 years is not enough. And Nasir El-Rufai had mentioned that some months ago in an interview, and appealed to the candidate to stop mentioning that it's the 4 years that they were going to, they were only interested in governing for 4 years. I think that's totally manipulative. And the thing is that Nigerians are not even buying it anymore. People know that you need more than that. If you're a strong candidate, Peter Obi is a very qualified candidate, somebody who, as you have said, the experience from the last election. So he shouldn't be seen saying, from gunning for 8 years, now you're saying 4 years. Why? Because you want the party to give you the ticket? I don't think that should be, Just let the party know and Nigerians generally know what your alternative is to what we have right now. If I become president, will he overhaul the fuel subsidy removal? Will he overhaul student loan? Will he also reverse the tax act? What insecurity? What would he do better? Will he bring in mercenaries? You give an alternative, but we're not hearing an alternative yet. We're just hearing, we want to bring back our journey is to return the country to what? Let us know what exactly you plan to do that will be a better alternative to what we have right now. But what we keep hearing from all the candidates is immediately something happens, they criticize the government and tell them, look at what the government is doing. When we come back, we will do better. What will you do better is the question.
Not yet. It's not time for campaign yet. They're not candidates.
No, you don't need to. Basi, you don't need a campaign to let them know exactly, because you criticize. If you are criticizing something, you bring an alternative. That's how it's done. This government, Kingsley, for this present administration, I have seen a lot of things that are faulty, that have gone wrong. If I'm a candidate, I will speak about it. On my show, I talk about it. When I criticize the government about, so why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? But I'm not hearing the alternative of some of these things that you say. So I'm not saying that you should go campaigning all through no. But when you are criticizing, then give us a bit of what the difference will be. That's just it.
By the way, let's just track back, to a few minutes when you mentioned the fact that the governor of Abia State, that's Alex Toti, who's the sole Labour Party governor across the 36 states. You did mention, him saying he's not going to leave the Labour Party. He's there to fight on the rest. Well, just listening back in my head to what he said, I kind of think it was quite strategic in his comment. Maybe not. That was deliberate. He did say that this time he wasn't going to move with Peter Obi, signaling that this could happen later, but in the moment he's not ready to do that.
Yeah, maybe he's not ready to do that at this moment. Maybe he will join the ADC. Maybe he will decamp to APC.
I mean, we had the Soswan of Plateau State who had said that he was not going to be pressured to lead the PDP, but weeks later he's with the Pro-Progressives Congress.
But that's the
way
that's what I'm saying.
For politicians, isn't it?
But for this moment, we don't know what Alex Oti will decide. The future will let him tell. He may truly join. He may likely follow Peter Obi to the ADC. He may more or less stay back at the Labour Party. And on the other side, it was rumored some weeks ago that he was about to become to the APC. He may just do that. It's politics. That's what we know. That's how it works. But my point is that, again, just to wrap it up, Peter Obi will not, and I repeat, will not get the ticket of the ADC. Atiku Abubakar, he'll get that ticket, and he will run and he will be the running mate in 2027. Mark my words.
You sound quite sure, like the soothsayer who has seen the future. Oh, well, you know what they say. I'd like to know your Baba, because I'd like to know what the future holds. So
I have no prophet.
Just so that we can see people making money tomorrow. That would be fine. But yeah, I'd like to thank you so much, Jimmy, for being a part of the conversation. Unfortunately, for some technical reasons, Prince Francis Chilaka could not complete the conversation. But yeah, points taken, your perspectives noted, and that Nigerians would continue to monitor this development and see what happens. It's the last day in the year 2025, and this is what we're greeted with politically. One wonders what will happen tomorrow. I think it is possible, tomorrow being the first date of January, that's the governor of Kano State, Baba Kabir Yusuf, defects to the Pro-Progressives Congress. Well, those are the fillers we have, but we'll keep monitoring that and bring those conversations your way, those big political stories you should be talking about here. It's been 2025 filled with loads and loads of political, heavy political stories. We've discussed a lot of those through the year 2025. We'd like to thank you so much for being a part of that. And of course, let's look forward to the better 2026 and indeed 2027 and the many years to come together as a nation. Jimmy, many thanks one more time.
Always. And of course, Happy New Year in advance.
Same to you. Wish you the very best. May the noble ventures truly be profitable now and in the coming years, indeed, even the many years to come. It's been Homo Politicus. Thank you so much. This is how we say thank you and wrap things for 2025. We're back in 2026 doing things bigger, better, and serving you hot political stories the best way possible. Kingsley Bass is my name. Have a fantastic time. Enjoy your celebrations. Be careful. And be cautious. Be cautious of the roads when you drive, when you cross over as well. And do stop by the comment section. Let's know what you make of this declaration by Peter Obi for the African Democratic Congress. May God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye for now.
One thing is advice to work on. We look at Onyemu. There's so many of you that are gathered here. Let us come as a family under the ADC coalition led by David Mark to turn around our dear country, to stop this lamentation, to stop this crying, to make sure that people in ID camp go back to their houses.